surprise, there's a third class coming to the Kickstarter tomorrow, which launches at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 Central. The class that we haven't talked at all about yet, the Gambler. Now, the Gambler is a class that I've been mulling on for a very long time, but I wasn't sure if I was ever going to be able to make it happen, both financially and mechanically speaking. When people first started joking during playtests about their dice being weighted towards fumbles, the thought occurred to me, how cool would it be to have a class that actually used weighted dice, something I know I personally haven't seen in any other game. Maybe we didn't want them to be weighted towards fumbles, but weighted special custom dice. Now that idea, over time and with a lot of discussions and a lot of samples from the manufacturer, eventually became the Gambler. Well, I won't get too spoilery, but the weighted die itself eventually ended up going to one of the advanced classes of the Gambler. But I knew that I wanted each class in this add-on, both the starting class and its two advanced classes, to each have their own unique physical component. So those three components ended up being a D12, the weighted die that I talked about, and a metallic coin. But let's, in this video, take a look at the starting class and its D12. So we'll look at it in Tabletop Simulator here. And right away, you're going to see something weird about this die. It's a D12, the only one of its kind in Phantom Epoch. Right on this face here, we see a fumble with a number. And if we keep turning it, we're going to see different numbers, both on crits and on fumbles. So unlike any other dice in Phantom Epoch, the values of criticals on this aren't strictly threes. And the values of fumbles, even though they still result in a miss, unless you choose to take knockdown to convert it to 0, they still result in a miss, but they can still do damage even though it's a fumble, which is completely unique to the Gambler. So rather than me just talking about it, let's play out a couple of rounds as the Gambler and see how it plays in an actual mission. And we're going to play just a turn or two of Volan 7, maybe not actually doing the objective, just fighting some bad guys. But you'll see I start off down here, and I'm going to fight some archers here. So I do have an object in my way. First things first, I'm probably going to want to leap. I'm probably going to want to be able to roll my special D12 Gambler die, and I'm probably going to want to do an attack or two. So let's do that and see how this goes. My warrior who's with me, I also want to leap, and I'll probably just put up some guard. Let's play out a round and see how that goes. So the warrior is a 6, the Gambler is an 8, and our archers are a 9 and a 10. So first of all, we're going to have the warrior leap up here and then throw on some guard. And then next up is going to be the Gambler. So I do have this leap, dive for cover. And what that does is it actually lets me leap next to an object. And then I can use that object for cover, forcing any accuracy die rolls through it to get blocked by it. But unfortunately, no accuracy die rolls are going to be going through any object adjacent to me here. So I'll just use that as the leap. Well, I'm going to put up custom dice. Now, what that does is it lets me use this special Gambler die on any one of my attack rolls. Normally, I would have to use cards that specifically call for it, but because I have custom dice up, I can now use it with this low-stakes attack. Now, because this is the only attack on my turn, I can go ahead and convert it into just a regular attack instead of an attack -2. So it's nice. There's 1 AP card right out at the gate that can be converted. And I am going to use the Gambler die, and I am going to attack. Oh, let's just go with the light blue archer. So we'll roll the Gambler die here. And I fumbled, but it's a fumble with a value of 1. Now, this does currently have 0 guard, so even though I fumbled, I do hit it for 1 damage. So right away, that new Gambler die, even though it wasn't a great roll, is coming in pretty handy for me. Now, the archers are going to go, and they're going to leap away from me. At least one of them is. And it's going to attack me, my warrior. And let's see what it gets. 83 plus 2, 5. And I currently have guard 3. So that's 2 damage. And then the other one is going to attack as well, although it is piercing guard. So that's actually 6 damage. And all of my guard is pierced. So that's a rough start. All right. Round 1 is done. Let's go straight into round 2. And we'll get the warrior out of the way. Maybe let's just do a brick wall. We'll soak up some damage here. And then I'm going to do a mulligan on the gambler. Now that'll let me re-roll any die that I want to. I'll do a ricochet. Let's see how this goes for us. All right. So as I threw this, the gambler, it really, as implied by the name, it really leans right into risk versus reward. I can have some really powerful, really amazing turns, but I have to choose to take a chance in order to do so. And I might just end up missing entirely. But the gambler also kind of controls fate a little bit in that if your playstyle accepts that risk versus reward and you like that higher risk for the higher reward, you can lean into it. But on the other hand, you can also kind of control your luck a little bit. Maybe your rewards won't be quite as outstanding, but you can lean into controlling fate, controlling your luck, so that it's not quite so swingy. So you can go either way with the gambler, just like gambling in real life. Not that I'm encouraging that. All right, so my warrior is going to use brick wall. My gambler then is going to put up mulligan that lets me re-roll an attack or accuracy die roll that the gambler makes. And then I'm going to use a ricochet. Now what this is, I get to choose a target. If it's successful, then I choose another target, drawing range from the first target. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with our dark blue archer. And I didn't mention before, the gambler does have range 4, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to start with the archer closest to me. I'll roll a critical strike. Now the value is only 1, but it is a critical strike. So that's going to be, it has guard -1, so that's 2 damage off the bat. But then I'm also going to activate this critical ability that lets me roll the gambler die again and add the result to the attack value. So let's see what I can add to that. So I add 3. So that actually is a +3 from before. So that becomes altogether 5 damage on this archer. And that's pretty good. Now, because it was successful, I can do my second attack, drawing line of sight and range from the first target. So I'll go ahead and do that on the light blue archer. So we'll roll the gambler die again. So I fumbled. No big deal though, because it's still 2. And this enemy has -1 guard. So I still hit it for 3 more damage, even though I fumbled. And I didn't have any other attacks planned this turn, so that worked out pretty well perfectly for me. So I will go ahead and discard Ricochet. And we'll do the enemy's turns real quick. And they're going to do something kind of interesting here. It's going to actually pull my warrior back. So it pulls my warrior up here, and then it's going to do an attack on my warrior. Well, I'm not actually going to bother. Actually, I do have to bother rolling this because it's an attack with the target tree. Okay, so it hits the warrior, but I have brick wall up, so that doesn't matter. I did forget to discard my guard. And on the second target is going to be my gambler. And it hits me for 6 damage. Now, on this mission, by this point, I should have some equipment and attachments and such, but just for demoing the gambler, I'm just focusing on its skills, not equipment. All right, this one's going to do a leap in close, and then this is kind of silly, but it can't retreat any further away. Actually, yes, it can. So it leap 2, and it's going to retreat 3, 4, 5. Once again, pulling the warrior with it. And then it's going to do an attack on the warrior, who was its primary target. I do still have brick wall, so we're all good there. And adrenaline rush. So let's make this our last turn. We'll see if we can take both of these out. I do have extra AP this round, so that's cool. The gambler will be the target of one attack. That's fine. Let's have our warrior go late. We'll just do this. And then, let's see. We definitely want to get a double or nothing up here. We maybe want to do 2 of a kind. And let's just go all out on the attacks. I'm probably going to fumble some here, but that's okay. All right. So we got a 10 and a 10 on our characters, and we got a 9 on the archers, and a 10 on the archers. So Dark Blue Archer is going to go first, and as you can tell, I'm just ignoring the sentry for the sake of this demo. All right, so Dark Blue Archer leaps away and then tries to light my warrior on fire, who still has brick walls, so it doesn't matter. And then it is either the warrior or the gambler's turn. Let's go with the gambler. I'm going to start out with a wild swing. This is an attack +1. And if the attack does not succeed, then I'll end up inflicting knockdown on myself. So once again, taking a risk, but great reward. I'm just going to roll the basic die on this one. So that is 3. It has guard 0 at the moment. So that is enough to defeat that Aladdin. All right. So 1 down. I'm going to go ahead and convert 2 of a kind into a move 4. 1, 2, 3, and let's get nice and close so I don't have to roll accuracy here. We're going to use double or nothing. So this is an attack +1. I rolled 2 different available attack dice. If a fumble isn't rolled on either die, then it's going to be treated as a critical strike of the total rolled value between the 2 dice. Otherwise, treated as a regular fumble that misses entirely. So, big risk here. 2 dice rolled. I am going to roll my gambler's die, which has a fairly decent chance of fumbling, honestly, even though the fumbles on it don't hurt quite so bad. It does have a decent chance of fumbling. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it, and I'll probably roll the basic attack die with it. Let's roll the gambler die and basic attack die. And as you can see, I did fumble on the gambler's die. Fortunately, I set up mulligan before. So I'm going to go ahead and re-roll the gambler die, controlling my luck a little bit here. We'll see. Oh, I ended up rolling even worse. But what I can do now is I can convert that to a 0 using the new fumble rule. And I will be knocked down, but it's not a fumble anymore. So instead it becomes a 4 with a crit, treated as a critical. And that should be enough to finish off this enemy. So as you can see, the gambler, it really leans into high risk, high reward. It's a super exciting class with wild swings, highs and lows. But you can also control your luck. The lows, like I rolled pretty badly there, in all honesty. And yet I made it work. And that's what the gambler's all about. You can make it work regardless of what you roll, but you can also just swing for the fences and have amazing attacks. And then I'll just speak about the advanced classes a little bit, the Scoundrel and the Hotshot. Now, when we were designing these advanced classes, we kind of used Star Wars as our theme, and particularly gambling characters in Star Wars. So we wanted one to kind of be themed after Han Solo and the other to be themed after Lando. Now, those 2 characters approach luck, or the Force, if you will, in very different ways. Han, he often has very bad luck, but he also is very heroic, because when he needs it to, his luck comes through for him. And that's kind of what the hotshot leans into. It really embraces that. Yeah, you're going to have bad luck sometimes, but you're also going to have good luck. It leans into that for some amazing swings. Lando, on the other hand, when he's gambling, he controls his fate, doesn't he? He doesn't take chances. He sometimes cheats to make things line up in his favor. And that's exactly what the Scoundrel does. So both of these classes are extremely fun to play, and I think you're going to love them. So stay tuned to the Kickstarter, once again launching tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 Central. And make sure to add the Gambler to your pledge if any of this sounds interesting to you. Thanks, and let me know what you think in the comments below.